Before we get to our Week 1 Ravens preview episode, I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about our special partnership we have with GV Art and Design. Sunday during kickoff, Week 1 against the Ravens, we're giving away a Cleveland fan gift basket complete with a Browns t-shirt, Cleveland Cavaliers sticker, and Cleveland Indians magnet. All you have to do is RT our GV Art and Design giveaway tweet and give us a follow. That's it. That's easy. That's simple. We'll draw a name at kickoff and let you know. Don't forget to check that out and be entered to win this sweet gift basket. Shouts to GV Art and Design for sending us that and partnering with us again. Also, on Monday, Press Play Podcast launched a new show, the Hyman Podcast. Super proud of this one right here. The Hyman Podcast will focus on the human experience through a narrative storytelling approach. JD's style and point of view is unique, and we could not be more thrilled to have him on board with us. I've been talking with JD about this for years. He was one of the first people I reached out to when I had dreams of launching Press Play about 3 years ago. Then in response to the George Floyd murder and subsequent protests, reached out again, and we finally made it happen. Check out the Hyman Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It's so great to record season episodes again. This episode, we begin by talking about the quote-unquote media's response to the OBJ rumor. We also break down the Kareem Hunt extension. Let me tell you, I have some thoughts on the other Cleveland podcast host and show responses and tweets. Make sure you check that out. I share my thoughts about Baker heading into the season. And we just have a lot of fun. This is a great episode, and it's going to be an even better season. Shouts to Cameron and Jeremy for making this happen. Let's go Browns, and Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, can't block! They block the kick!
This is the Oranges, Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I'm your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider, Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, say hi to everybody, man. What's up?
Hey, what is going on? Can you believe the NFL season starts in just 2 days? Absolutely incredible, man. All that's been going on this year, everything going on in the world, at least we get NFL football in 2 days. I'm pretty pumped.
Super pumped. And joining us all season long, she's your favorite Emmy-nominated digital content producer at News Channel 5, Cameron Justice. Cameron, what's going on?
Not much, just getting hyped, getting excited for Sunday. I cannot wait.
Yes.
It's time to see what we have.
Everyone is super pumped. This is the best time. Right? Everything is so fresh. It's like a freshly fallen snow. It's just like so perfect and beautiful. Nothing's messed it up yet. So before we get to our game preview, there were some Cleveland Browns in the news today on Tuesday, 2 different players. We're going to talk about Kareem Hunt in a second, but I'm going to take a little time here and just talk about the OBJ story. Not so much what the story is, but how people responded on Twitter. And specifically to the Browns podcast community, how we responded on Twitter, how I saw hosts and shows respond on Twitter. And these are shows that get thousands and thousands of video views and hosts that are trying to break college football news and be respected in this journalistic community. The way that they chimed in with jokes and one-liners that added to this conversation was just completely unprofessional. And one of the reasons why Jeremy and I started this podcast was because the selection of Browns pods was less than
awful.
Ideal. They weren't professional. We didn't like them. We didn't like to listen to them. And so we said, we can do it better. And so we set out to make a professional show that sounded great. And in order to gain that respect, you have to be professional and act responsibly, and chiming in with jokes about stories like this is not going to cut it. It's not going to get you respect in the Browns organization. Players aren't going to give you the time of day. And it was just really discouraging. And so I just want to say, pick your lane, right? If you want to be slapstick and just for the entertainment, that's fine. But don't also try in that same breath to be professional and try to make a name for yourself and try to do this and that. That's not how it works. And so with a story like this that is just so whatever it is, just if you don't add to that conversation. So that's all I have to say. It was really discouraging to see how some people, didn't handle themselves professionally, and they just wanted the clicks or the retweets or whatever for the easy jokes, low hanging fruit, which is just the worst kind of jokes anyway. And so I'm grateful that, Cameron and everyone in the Press Play Network, rose above that. Jeremy, fortunately, not on Twitter anymore, probably for days like today. He's
Sorry, guys.
Grateful.
Sorry, guys.
but you're never going to see us stoop down that low and, just be unprofessional and do things just for clicks or jokes, or likes. That's not how we operate. And I'm grateful that everyone here at Press Play and the Orange is Oranger, understands that. We got the best people working for us, and not that this is to start a Browns Pods Wars or whatever that hashtag is, but I really do believe we have the best Browns fan pod out there. And I'm grateful for people like Cameron and Jeremy. So guys, appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. And I agree with everything you just said, Jace.
Yeah, agree. I mean, there's a level you don't need to stoop to. And that crosses the line, I think. So,
and not to, like, Cameron, I'm sure if you responded the way some of these people, you would have lost your job.
When you do things like that, you probably get some likes. It's not that, like, your joke's not funny. Maybe it's funny, but is it worth losing the respect? Like,
yeah.
I mean, for me, there's no chance that I'm going to do that. Why? Yeah. I mean, it's not football related. It's not anything. It has nothing to do with the team. That's his personal life. So
I'll end it with this. I'm going to pull LeBron. And let me tell you, if I had a shorts and a suit jacket with a purse, I would totally wear that. I love LeBron's style, but I'll end with this. Guys, be better. All right. Just be better. And I will storm out with my man purse and suit shorts right now, which I think was fire. I love that outfit. Anyway, that's what we're going to have to say about OBJ. That was trending all day. The other Browns player trending was Kareem Hunt. Jeremy, Cameron, the Browns signed him to a 2-year contract extension. He's going to be at the Browns for 3 years. That means we get 3 more years of Chubb and Hunt together.
Incredible.
You can't argue that. We're the best 1-2 duo in the NFL. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on the extension?
I think it's inarguable that the Browns have the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, one of the best of the last decade. And what's funny? I always thought there was a little bit of like I don't want to say gamesmanship, but I always thought he was just talking when he said how great him and Chubb, how great of friends they were, how great they get along, how he looks at Chubb as like sort of a mentor of sorts. And it must be true for him to sign that deal. I would say he could have taken his chances at having a decent year and went and signed somewhere where he could have been a feature back next year if he keeps his nose clean. Instead, he signs a deal that I think is relatively team friendly. $8 million guaranteed over 2 years. The Browns have the money, as you saw the other day. The Browns still have the most cap space in the league. They had $37 million, I believe, going into this year, which is the most in the league. So they make good use of that cap space. You keep an incredible weapon when he's healthy. I love it. I love everything about the move. I love the dynamic of the backfield. I love the fact that we have so many weapons on offense. So you can't just pick one to focus on. I love everything about this signing.
Yes, Jeremy, just an incredible move, which I want to talk about momentarily. Cameron, there was some conversation where this jeopardizes Chubb's future with the team. Do you see that at all, or how do you see this playing into the running back situation here in Cleveland?
No, I think what Jeremy said was spot on. I think it's a great deal. I mean, it's a great extension. You give that 1-2 punch. You have the 2 best running backs in the league, and you do it on a great deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, $13.25 million extension, 3 years. Like you have 2 years, you get a 3-year extension. You have him for so long with Nick Chubb. It doesn't get better than that. And I don't think that it, because the deal was so good and like you said, very team friendly. I don't think that it has any kind of threat to the future of the team. I think if anything, it helps the future because now they have that foundation. They're going to build it. They're going to, get that chemistry. And then from there, you just move forward. And it's just, I don't know. It's a great move. I saw it. I was so excited because you don't get better than that. You got the talent, you got the time, and you got it at a steal of a price, honestly. And it's not just his talent. You've got the heart too, because I mean he's from here. He wants to be here. He wanted to play in Cleveland, and you don't get better than that. You don't get better than someone who wants to be here and plays really well.
Jeremy, this is the second player in a week that has been grateful to sign and play in Cleveland. We traded for the Jag safety,
Rodney Harrison.
Yeah, the second, like, what is going on, right?
Really, the third, if you can count Hollywood Higgins.
It's Higgins. You got to do three. Yeah.
If you count Hollywood Higgins, you have three players that are incredibly grateful to be here. Love the city, love the people.
Hollywood,
it's awesome. And I mean,
What is this vibe? What is this vibe? This is not normal. You don't get players who love being here and are vocal about being here over other teams. It's a beautiful thing. You got to.
And I know it's early, but I think Stefanski plays a part in this. I think the guys look at him as a guy that I think people see Stefanski as a guy who respects what the players have to say. They know he's intelligent. They know he knows what he's talking about. I know it's early, but I think Stefanski plays into that. Like you said, I think Andrew Berry plays into that. I think you have to give Baker some credit on that. So I think it's pretty awesome. Now we got to go out and win, obviously.
I want to talk about Baker.
But
I got some Baker thoughts.
I think that everybody knows that I am the most optimistic Browns fan in the history of Browns fans. Okay. Everybody knows that, but I really love the vibe of this team. I love how everything's coming together, and now I can't wait to see how it looks on the field Sunday.
We're going to get to the week 1 preview here in a few moments. But yeah, Higgins, I apologize, man. The third player, like, what is going on? Pinch us, wake us up. This just isn't what we're used to. And I think even if you look at free agency, we got one of the top linemen in Conklin.
The top lineman.
Tight end. This is just – guys, this is it. And this is a great segue to my conversation I want to have about Baker Mayfield. Right now, you cannot ask the front office to do any more. They have given us the best roster on paper and arguably 30-some years in Cleveland. Not only the best roster, it's the youngest team with the most flexible contracts, with cornerstone pieces in place for years. We just signed Myles Garrett to an extension. We have, what do they say? They say D end, a corner, and a quarterback. You want them young and on cheap contracts, right? And to be a franchise.
And potentially left tackle. Potentially left tackle as well.
Check. You cannot, and hopefully it seems like they have the head coach, the front office all aligned and all in the same. That was a huge deal at the beginning of the offseason. You cannot ask them to do anything more. And all of this points to Baker Mayfield. Listen, any competent quarterback should be able to take this team to 8 or 9 wins without any problem. If Baker Mayfield cannot do that this year, Bake, man, like, come on, this is it. Yeah. Like, any competent quarterback should be able to take this team to 8 or 9 wins, at least.
I mean, literally the only excuse would be lack of preparation with a noose. But I mean, if you take that out of it, everybody's in that boat, right? Everybody has had the same, stuff to overcome this offseason, right? I mean, you have a refurbished, revamped offensive line. You have weapons. You got running. I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times, but it's just a fact, and you're right on the money, Chase. I mean, it's all on Baker Mayfield this year. There's no excuses. You got a system now that fits his strengths. You got all the pieces around it. It's Baker. This is your year, man. This is it.
Cameron, I'm a very much pro Baker Mayfield guy. I've been on Baker before the Browns had him. When all the stock was low, I was buying all everyone's Baker stock. I love Baker Mayfield. Tonight at dinner, Lottie asked me what I loved more, Baker Mayfield or the Cavs. And I said Baker Mayfield, only because I have to. Like, this is it. This is what his whole entire life is building up to. Like, we as fans have been waiting for this for 20-some years, for this season, this moment, for this starting franchise quarterback. And if Baker Mayfield, Cameron, doesn't give us anything, then it's it. What week are we like, Bake? That's it. Like, does he get past week 10? If does he last all season? Like, what happens here, Cameron, if Baker Mayfield doesn't produce?
I think you give him the whole season, because I mean, you've got a decent quarterback to back him up. That's not a question, but do you take him out? Because the second you take him out,
That's it.
Calling it. So
Yeah, that's it.
maybe he has a rough start. Who can tell? He shouldn't with his weapons, but getting him adjusted to Kevin Stefanski's offense, it's different from training camp and it's different on paper than it is in game. So you got to give him the season, because he might struggle at first, but who knows if he when's he pick it up? Does he pick it up? Does he struggle 4 weeks and then he picks it up week 5? If you take him out too early, then what? Then it's over. You can't put him back in.
Yeah.
You can't take him out. So, yeah, I mean, he gets the whole season. If it's me, whether he does poorly through the whole season or not, that's the testament of this Browns team. You have to see, because the whole team is dependent on Baker Mayfield's performance, because you have the weapons. They're proven to be incredible offensive weapons. Our defense has shown that they're incredible, and you have the talent on defense. So the only question right now moving forward with this team is Baker Mayfield.
On Baker, Jeremy.
Yeah, so let me piggyback off that a bit, because I think Cameron is dead on the money, and I would not be the one to have to make that decision. Because if you pull Baker Mayfield, that's it. I mean, that is it. There is no going back to him. It's Case Keenum's team. From then on out, Baker will be done. You can't pull him week 4 and then bring him back week 6. That's it. So I tend to agree with Cameron. I think he gets this season, even though you have a guy sitting back there that knows the system, that can step in and play. I think he gets the whole season, because if they pull him out and start Case Keenum, Baker Mayfield's career with the Browns is probably done. So I agree with her. I agree 100%.
On the flip side of that, if we get to week 10 or 11 and we're 5-3, if we're like 7-4. On the flip side, if Baker does just mediocre quarterback play and the team is doing what we should, they're going to hand him the keys to the freaking city. This is the quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. My daughter and my son's only going to know one quarterback for the Browns. I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. Like, on the flip side of this, like, terrible nightmare of Baker not producing, and is this, guys, this is it. This is, and the sky's the limit at that point, right, Jay? I mean, he broke in 13 and a half games, he broke the rookie quarterback record for touchdown passes, we forget. And we really should have won 2 or 3 more games that season because of Oakland, and you can just list all the games. Last year was a colossal F-up job by Kitchens, and a list of other things that happened. Dude, Jay, what's looking to your crystal ball? What's going to happen with Baker here, man?
Well, I like it's make or break for Baker, like we said. I mean, this is it. This is a chance. I think he's going to do it. Look, I think he's, has Baker ever said less in an off season? He's been quiet. He's put his head down. He lost weight. He got into shape. He's worked. He is ready to play. And I think this, like I said, I think this system fits him. All accounts are Stefanski loves him. He's put it in the work. He's put it in the time. So if you want my crystal ball, I think he's going to have an excellent year, and your wish is going to come true, and Baker Mayfield's going to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns for the next 7-8 years. Now, if he were to slip up early, that's when I wouldn't want to be the one making the decision, because if you, like we said, if you pull him, that's it. He's done. It's Case Keenum, and the Browns are looking for their franchise quarterback again. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Baker's going to have a fantastic year, and he will be the quarterback of your Cleveland Browns for the next decade.
Cameron, I'm like Jeremy. I'm a super optimist with the team. And one of the things that Jeremy and I talked about last season was we said Baker would outlast this next coach, but that would be it. Looking at Stefanski and Barry in the front office and Baker, who do you see outlasting who, if it does get kind of bad? Who wins that battle there?
I think that, Andrew Barry, I think, is a lock-in. You don't get rid of him.
Right.
He's incredible. On paper, obviously, we have to see what happens on the field, but every move he's made has just worked so well. He's a genius. He's also a football guy, so you got the best of both worlds. You got the nerd, you got the football, and the same thing with Kevin Stefanski. It's his first season, and he's got so much. He's gotten so much credit from other coaches in the league saying that he's going to be incredible as a coach. So even if he doesn't do very well this year with the Browns, I don't think you move past him. You can't move past him. It's not a Freddie Kitchens situation, because Freddie Kitchens was a mess, and we saw it. We saw that he had no game plan. He switched his game plan. There was no communication. There was no leadership, and that was very obvious mid-season. Even in training camp, he was fun. He was rowdy, but where was the leadership? You didn't really see it at all. So you're seeing already these players flock around Kevin Stefanski, and they love his leadership, and they love the communication and the game plans he has. So you can't move past him. Even if the Browns don't do well this year, he's got to stay. You got to give him that chance to build that team. So, I mean, worst case scenario, I think they all, stay the same. I don't think that anyone outlasts each other. But I mean, honestly, if you're asking the worst case scenario, I think Baker Mayfield, if it was bad, would go before them. And I think he would have to do that because he had the chance with a bad coach with Kitchens.
Yeah.
And then you have another chance, and maybe Stefanski's good or bad, but
Cameron,
he's got 2 chances already.
Let me ask you this, Cameron. Doesn't it feel like Stefanski is so in control of the team?
Oh, it's incredible.
It never felt like that with Freddie. It always, but it feels like
the players led him. The players controlled Freddie.
Exactly.
They had fun with him, and that's fine. That's fun. But yeah, I mean, like you're saying, there was no control, there was no game plan, there was no this is what we're doing, and you're gonna do it. I mean, and
it just feels like it feels so much different to me, and maybe I'll be proven wrong, I'm no stranger to being wrong, but it just feels like Stefanski is in control of this team. It feels like they've bought in, and that's a beautiful thing to see at this point.
I think I agree. I think Stefanski does outlast Baker Mayfield, and I didn't think that going into the season. I didn't think that through the coaching search. I thought Baker was going to outlast this next coach, and then it would be on the hot seat. But I really think the seat could not be hotter for Baker. I think, hey man, you have this limited window to define the rest of your NFL career, and I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or exaggerate, but dude, it's put up or shut up. It's you need to produce right now, or you're going to be out of the league in 2 years, and that's just the reality of where we're at. And it's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's all these other things, and it's terrifying if you think about it, because everything hinges on quarterback play in Baker Mayfield.
But I think he knows that, and that's why it's so exciting to see this training camp, because obviously it's just training camp, and we don't know what happens until Sunday. But I mean, just the work you see, we talked about him losing the weight, the mentality he has, his answers when he's with the press, his social media, and then even just at camp, you see the way he's worked and the way this system has fit him. He moves so well. His footwork looks so much improved, and it's just he's working with Van Pelt, just coaching very, very well. It's playing out to me the way it looks. Seeing him in training camp, seeing him out there at practice, it's flowing. Nothing looks uncomfortable. And he's had a couple, rough passes during practice, but you can also credit that to a defense. I mean, overall, camp is exactly what you wanted to see out of him. He gave you what he wanted. He showed up during the offseason. He came in prepared, ready to go, focused, and he just looks improved. He looks more comfortable running this system. The play actions you're seeing in training camp, it's beautiful. It's natural. It's what you've wanted from Baker Mayfield. So if they can execute that every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever they play, if they can execute what they're looking like in training camp, the flow of that and just the ease that it comes with what we've seen so far, I mean, you can't go wrong. I don't see how this goes south. But I also said that many a time, so don't count on me too much.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with our Week 1 preview of the Baltimore Ravens. Want to take a quick break to talk about Shart.com. Yes, that's right. You heard me. Shart.com. I'm talking about a t-shirt frame. Shirt art. Shart. The Shart t-shirt frame is the best designed do-it-yourself t-shirt frame on the market today. Display your favorite tees with professional results in less than a minute. You don't want to get rid of all your favorite Cleveland sports t-shirts. You have drawers and drawers of them, maybe totes, and you definitely don't want to cut them up or put holes in them. Well, listen, get yourself the Shart t-shirt frame and hang them on your wall in style. Their foam insert and high-quality frames prevent you from having to cut your shirt, and you'll keep your memory safe and beautiful for years to come. Your Shart.com t-shirt frame comes fully assembled with turn buttons, real glass sealed in place for safe shirt framing, and 2 sawtooth hangers nailed into the back of the frame so you can mount your piece of Shart either horizontally or vertically. I personally own 4 and can't wait to purchase more. The Cavs championship t-shirt and a couple other Browns tees deserve a spot on my wall, and they get a shirt. You better believe it. Visit shart.com today to make your purchase. And listen, just for our Oranger listeners, if you use promo code GOBROWNS at checkout, you'll receive 20% off your entire order. Limit 1 use per customer. Again, that's shart.com, promo code GOBROWNS. Let's get back to the show. All right, shart.com t-shirt frames. Gosh, I have 4. They're awesome. You guys check them out for sure. Hey, as we preview each game this upcoming season, we're going to do 2 episodes a week. We're going to do 1 preview episode, hopefully near the end of the week after Wednesday's injury report, and then 1 post-game recap after Sunday, the first half of the week. That's our plan. That's our hope. Hope you guys stick along with us all season. But Cameron is going to be providing Cameron's keys to the game for every preview episode that we do. So Cameron, without further ado, we present to you Cameron's keys to the game.
So what this team needs to do, we're going up against the Ravens, all right? And this is the toughest matchup, I think, all season. And it's right out of the gate. So you're coming in hot off of almost no practice. You've got no preseason games. It's a tough one. And honestly, the biggest key to the game, the number 1 key that the Browns need to focus on going into Baltimore is running the ball. It's as simple as that. They've got to utilize Chubb and Hunt. Last year, the Browns faced the Ravens. They won. Huge game. It was amazing. Everyone was excited, right? Nick Chubb, 165 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. You got to use him. That was when Kareem Hunt was suspended still. So you had Dontrell Hilliard in there. He had 27 yards, 6 carries. You used that run game. They utilized it in the way that they could with really just Chubb. Dontrell Hilliard, I mean, he's helpful when he needs to be, but I mean, he's no Kareem Hunt when you look at it. So then you look at the second matchup with the Ravens when the Browns lost. What happened? Nick Chubb, 45 yards. Kareem Hunt, 2 carries, 8 yards. You had Kareem Hunt, didn't utilize it. There was not a lot of touches. It wasn't run heavy enough. So the Browns need to go into this very run heavy. I know that they have a lot of offensive weapons. It's going to be tempting to use those tight ends and the wide receivers, and that's fine if that makes it work. But I honestly think the key to the game right now is on the ground. You got to take that in there. My second key is the defense. You got Lamar Jackson. He's quick. He's going to run the ball. You have to use that fast. And the Browns are good about that. That defense is very fast. So you got to get there and you got to stop him on the ground, on the outside. Got Myles Garrett. He's bound to explode. I'm excited to see what he does against this team. I'm excited to see how quick he gets in there. But I mean, if you get in there, if the Browns defense can get in there, force Lamar to throw the ball after a long time. Don't let him get it off quick. Make him throw it. I don't think it's going to go well for him. So the defense has all the keys that it needs to get there. I know they're a little busted up with all the injuries, but I still think with the pass rush that we have, the depth that we have at that with Myles Garrett, with Olivier Vernon back on the team, with Adrian Claiborne, I think that they're gonna do some damage. And if they can really make an impact, stop Lamar Jackson is the key. Stop him not just from making those accurate throws, which he makes quick, but you also gotta stop him on the outside because he's gonna run. He's gonna run on the outside, and you gotta watch that because he does it every time. So get that down, figure him out, shut him down. And my last key to the game is one that's not technically football. It's more of a vibe. The Baltimore Ravens they don't have fans. There's no fans in that stadium. Take advantage of that. They're going to be pumping in crowd noise. That's not the same. The Browns, when they come home, they'll have 6,000 fans. Also not the same as normal, but 6,000 more fans than the Ravens are going to have. Plus, you're going to have the crowd, like the pumping and the sound. So there's no reason to not take advantage of this. Make sure they know they don't have any fans there to cheer. They don't have any fans there to boo. Use those vibes. Take advantage of it because not every team is not going to have fans. And this is the one, and I really think it's important. They don't have that kind of, support. The Ravens don't have that from their fans. So you take all those 3 into account. I wasn't gonna say a win, but now I'm thinking about it. I think they have potential. I think they can pull this one off on the road.
Jeremy, seems pretty simple. Rub, Chubb, and Hunt.
Yeah.
Run, Chubb, and Hunt. Contain Lamar and take advantage of no crowd. What do you think, man?
Well, here's my biggest worry, to be honest with you guys. My worry is that because there's been no preseason games, what is the one thing that you worry about is a quarterback who can make plays off script, right? And that's what Lamar Jackson's specialty is. He can make plays off script. You know, a lot of teams we talked about in the past, Mike Holmgren used to say he liked his backup quarterback to be a guy who could run because of that fact. So we don't know how things are going to look because we haven't seen a single preseason game. We haven't seen guys that are going to play big roles in the Browns play at all in a real game yet. So that worries me. So I think that the biggest problem that we have is, I would say if you looked at the weakest unit on the Browns, it would probably be our linebacking core. And we have a new starting safety who's only been here a week, and you're going up against the most dynamic athlete in the game, in my opinion. So that is where I think the game will be won or lost, is our linebackers / safety play versus Lamar Jackson. And how does this defense gel that has not played together? It's going to have new starters in key places, Taki, Ronnie Harrison, Phillips, guys like that. So that is probably my biggest worry is, can we slow down Lamar Jackson enough to let our running game take over the game? That's so my key matchup would be Lamar Jackson versus our linebackers. And we don't even know. We haven't seen an injury report yet. I think we'll see one tomorrow, correct? We don't know BJ Goodson. We don't know his status yet. So that's a little bit concerning to me. So I'm with Cameron. I am enthusiastic, and I think the Browns can win this game. But that's where my concern lies.
Yeah, I think the Browns need to stay patient with the run game. Even if
sure, absolutely,
get ahead 10, 13 points, don't abandon the run game. And listen, I think our corners are better than the Ravens receivers.
And I agree with you there. But who is starting at the opposite corner? Do we know that yet? Opposite
Denzel Ward.
Greedy's hurt. We won't know till tomorrow where he's at. We need to see an injury report to know if Greedy's going to play. I like Terrence Mitchell. You know that. I'm a huge Money Mitch fan.
You love him.
But I would love to see, our starting corners out there. And we'll know more tomorrow. But
I thought the projected starting 53, Greedy, I didn't see him listed as injured.
Yeah, he's been injured for the last couple of weeks. So we'll have to see. We don't know the status, though, until we see an injury report. We don't know if it's day to day or week to week or where he's at right now. So I think that's I think both those. I think Goodson and Greedy are big pieces that we need to see if they're going to be playing or not in this game.
Cameron, did you have something? Looked like you had a thought.
Yeah. So Greedy Williams, you're waiting to make sure that he's in, but he was looking like he was slated to be good. As of last week, they said that he was getting back in with the team.
Okay.
So I think that he should be good to go.
Right.
We get the injury report
tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
So, listen, I think be patient with the run game. You nailed it, Cameron. I think containing Lamar, have Lamar beat us with his arm. Lamar, he cannot throw outside the numbers. He can barely throw inside the hash marks. I don't know.
Well, that's where his tight end. So that is the strength of his throw is, working the middle of the field with his tight ends. And that could be a concern because, Ronnie Harrison's only been with the team a few days, and I assume he's going to start at strong safety, so he'll have a lot of matchups with those tight ends. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely interested.
If that means Miles doesn't pin his ears back as much and just run straight, like he needs to rush with awareness and you know what I mean? Like kind of like do this contain rush.
Mush rush. They call it a mush rush in the NFL.
They call it a what?
A mush rush.
A mush rush.
That's the rush, right, where you try to contain while rushing, not just going all out. So you're trying to, there's always obviously, it's more complex than we make it sound, but there's always that. I mean, everybody says, oh, yeah, let's make him beat us with our arm. But that's why he's such an incredible athlete. Because even when you're keying on him and, coming after him with a specific style rush, he still is good enough to beat you. So, yeah, it's
people take their game plans from Madden, but
here we go.
And have him beat his arm. We saw what happened when we were up 10 in Baltimore.
Yeah,
we couldn't do anything, and that's when we hammered Chubb, and that's when it just got out of hand.
That's what, yeah. That's a formula for success. If we can get a lead and pound away, absolutely force him to beat us with his arm. You can't let the Ravens get on you early because they can also pound it down your throat, right? So
Yes, yeah. We don't want, and I do not want to see J.K. Dobbins. I don't want to see the back of his jersey. Of any Ravens, he scares me the most, more than Lamar. So I'm not high on Lamar, Cameron. Sorry. Like I think we
I
saw
love Lamar.
ceiling. We saw his ceiling, and I think he's holding the Ravens back. I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't care.
We've had this big conversation before. I love Lamar Jackson. I think he's the best athlete in the NFL.
I hate what team he's on, but
yeah, exactly.
He's exciting. But the thing with Lamar is, I think it's a waiting game because I feel like looking at his game, he should be very easy to figure out. But I don't know because he very well could adjust because I will agree with Jeremy. He's a good athlete. I don't think that he has the accuracy of a quarterback that you would want. Mm-hmm. He's shown it in spurts, but he doesn't have the arm. He doesn't, and when you throw deep, there's no accuracy. He's got the accuracy in his short passes, but mm-hmm. I don't know. He's not the typical quarterback, but he's the quarterback. I just want to make sure that that's clear. I don't want to discredit him.
Yes, yeah, he is a quarterback. But I think Dobbins, when I saw that the Ravens drafted him, I was like, oh man, that was
such a perfect fit. As much as I hate it, and I hate the Ravens.
Gosh,
that was just such a great draft pick.
Make good decisions, and it was just good. Yep. Well, Cameron, 3 for 3 on your keys. Love it. Great work. That was amazing. Let's get to the preview. Sunday, 1:05 p.m. kickoff at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. The Ravens and Browns split both last year and the year before, although last year each home team lost. And the year before that, each home team won. Baker, 2 for 4 against Baltimore. You want to get a fan base on your side, beat Baltimore, beat Pittsburgh. And, hey, Baker is very quickly climbing the ranks of most winningest Browns quarterback in franchise history.
As silly as that is.
That in jest, but it's sad to even say that. Do you guys know the line? Jeremy, we always like to guess the line. Jeremy, do you know the line?
I have not looked. If I was setting it, I would probably set it at Ravens +5.
Cameron, have you checked the line out?
I actually just saw it and I already forgot it.
Okay.
I don't bet. So.
I would say the Ravens are giving 5 would be my guess.
Do you want to bet or Cameron, what do you?
No, I literally don't touch that. I don't touch it.
Gotcha.
It's a dangerous little game. Yes. I won't do it.
Ravens -7.5, Jay. So
7.5. Okay.
Quite a bit. I had a few bets set. I bet Heat to win the series tonight and won a nice dinner with me and the missus here in a couple of weeks. So.
Hey now.
But I think we've pretty much previewed this game. We'll preview it more as we talk about narratives. I want to throw a couple of narratives out there and let us talk, and then we'll jump to bold predictions. I think one of the narratives we're going to see is a seasoned coach versus a brand new coach. A coach who has a system and all these things in place versus a coach who has been in the league for years but has never been the head coach. And on our Next Man Up podcast with Dennis Maniloff and Kenny Rhoda, they talked about just how we have this brand new coach against one of the smartest, one of the better coaches in the league. I think that's going to be a narrative
sure.
that we could see played out. Cameron, how do you think Stefanski is going to do against good old Harbaugh?
Kevin Stefanski, he's a smart man. He's been planning this for a very long time. This is nothing is gonna sneak up on him. I think the only question is just, how it all pans out on the field. Yeah. He's got his plan. I know that he's got his backup plans. He's got backup plans. He's got everything sorted out on paper. I think he'll fare very well against him. He has a game plan, and Kevin Stefanski is a very, very intelligent man, and he's also kind of a genius when it comes to his scheme. He's got a great background in a known and proven scheme. So I think that he does well. If things don't work out, I don't think that it comes down to him in this game. I think you give him. I won't ever say anything bad. I won't say anything bad about him for 4 weeks. I'll give him a month of games, and then it is what it is at that point. Then you can start criticizing. But
Jay, what are we going to learn about Stefanski week 1 here, man?
Well, you know what's funny? You remember we talked about this in the past, that John Harbaugh's philosophy versus the Browns used to be always let them beat themselves because they'll always make the costly mistake. And I think those days are finally over. So I think now the Browns are at a point where organizationally, they know what they're doing. They're not going to make the costly mistake. They're not going to get out coached. They're definitely not going to get outsmarted. So I don't think it's going to come down to that. The one thing we do have to worry about, like we've talked about ad nauseum, is we have never been on the field in a competitive game with this system and this group of players. So you don't know how that's going to look. That is the one thing. I mean, this is such a unique situation. Obviously, we have never went into a season without seeing a preseason game, right? So it's such a different scenario. So it's tough to predict. But I just think you're going to see a well-prepared, intelligent Browns team that won't beat itself. Will they win the game? I don't know. But will they be prepared, and will they look like they didn't play preseason games? No, I think they're going to look like a team that's prepared and ready to play. So I don't think they're going to get out coached.
I'm anxious to see Stefanski's clock management. I think that really, as a head coach, that's super vulnerable with clock management.
Yeah.
How you handle
and I don't think he's going to have an issue. I don't think he's going to have an issue at all. I think he's going to be so smart with it.
Well, let's hope so. Here's another narrative I think we're going to see. Brown's going to Brown. Now let me explain that. It's not like we haven't had a completely quiet offseason. Actually, at the very beginning of the offseason, it was following the 2019 season. You forget the Cheesecake Factory. That was –
I talked about that yesterday, yeah.
The Browns lineman who had all that pot at the border or whatever happened there.
Yep.
That was the offseason. And so the fact that we did go through a new coach and we do have a new front office, if we go and lay an egg here, guys, Brown's going to Brown, especially after what was trending today with OBJ. But listen, if we go into Baltimore and we win, then that really is a new leaf and a new chapter in the Browns lore. But if we go in and completely then Brown's going to Brown, right? And nothing has changed and same old. Let's just hope that doesn't happen, right?
Yep. I think I agree with you, but you know what? I think all they have to do is come out and play well and look competent, to be, a competitive team. I don't think they absolutely need to win, but you're right. If they come out and look disjointed and it's a mess and then it's the Browns going to Brown, you're right. It's the same old Browns. But I think if they come out and play well and look cohesive and I think they will. I think that, that'll be something to build on, and I don't think we'll all be ready to jump off the 480 bridge. Now, if they come out and get walloped and, the Ravens run up and down the field and our offense looks disjointed, then it's going to be an ugly few days until we play the Bengals.
Cameron?
See, I think that we're already the team is already off to a better start. Even without playing any games on the field, if you just look at if you just look at the answers and the responses and the planning, it's just a world of a difference. Instead of asking a question, you get a lot of reporters asking some questions to try to get some kind of information, trying to get something leaked, trying to get a fun soundbite. Stefanski is not about the cheeky answers. He's not about, giving a good soundbite. He's not about pretending to leaking something with an answer. He's very, very well thought before he says anything. He is straight to the point. There's not going to be any running headlines with something that he said that might be misconstrued or being able to be played out more than it should. There's none of that. With past coaching, you could definitely take that sound and then you can turn that into a distraction. You got the players, as much as they shouldn't care about what the headlines are, they're on social media, they're on the internet, they see their names, they search their names, they know what's being said about them. So when you don't have the ability to have that kind of storyline written about your team, and nobody thankfully wrote an article, picked up any kind of story. There was the tweets today about what happened, but I feel like that's part of it that plays into it. Is right now we're already off to a better start because the Browns can't Browns if they're not in their own way and they're not in their own heads. So you got the coach that's making sure that, it's football. Focus on this team, on the results. We're not going to do any cute stuff. Nothing, headliney. Move past anything that might come up, any drama that might happen, move past it, move on from it, plain and simple. So I think that they're already in a better place. I don't think they can get in their own way with that kind of, in that sense. I mean, they can definitely get in their own way when it comes
to Cameron's like, hey, the less preseason games, the better for the Browns. They don't
Let me say something, Chase, real quick, too, to piggyback off what Cameron just said. When the Browns first hired Kevin Stefanski, Cleveland Browns Daily brought in a bunch of people from Minnesota that covered him on a day-to-day basis, and they all said one thing about him, that he will never say anything to embarrass the team. He will never give any bulletin board material, and everything he says in a press conference will be calculated, intelligent, and he'll know exactly what he's saying, which is like the antithesis of Freddie Kitchens, right?
Well,
Nothing off the cuff.
Freddie was always – It's on me, and that's one thing we talked about was
right. But Freddie did say a lot of stuff off the cuff.
He did. He provided bulletin board material. You're right. But
right.
I think Sorry. Continue.
No, I was just saying that I just think that Kevin Stefanski, and we've talked about this ad nauseum as well, but is ultra prepared. Yeah. He knows what he's going to say. He comes into press conference knowing what he's going to say. He's not going to go off script. He's not going to wear a T-shirt to a movie theater that's going to piss people off. Yep. That's just not what it's going to be. There's not going to be any distractions outside of football with Kevin Stefanski. That's just what it is, and I think that's a welcome change.
100% Freddie Kitchens would wear like some stupid mask T-shirt over the summer or something. And the final narrative I see is just the young quarterbacks taking over the league, Baker, Lamar. If this is a really fun game and both teams play well and it's 35-32 or 42-37 or what, like I think it could be, hey, this is their league.
Two good young teams, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so I think that could be a really fun narrative, which, hey, if it's a shootout and the Ravens offense rolls and the Browns offense rolls and everyone eats, and I mean that could be a really fun week one game. Even though a loss, I think you can win through some losses, and even though a divisional loss really sucks, it counts as two losses. But I think that would be a huge confidence building block for this season. So I think the final narrative I want to talk about is just the young quarterbacks, Baker, Lamar, just add to kind of like this storied rivalry and how these guys are going to be playing each other for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think it's exciting no matter what. You can't be mad at this. Whether the Browns win or lose, it's going to be a good game. If nothing else, just to see how these quarterbacks play out in their young year, and these are a formidable season for them. You need to see what happens. Is Lamar going to be figured out? Are they going to figure Lamar Jackson out, or is he going to adapt his game, and is he going to be even more of a threat? Is Baker Mayfield going to show us what he was his rookie season? Is he going to be that quarterback that we all fell in love with watching, that exciting, confident, at times cocky player that but shows up? And not the disheveled looking like he doesn't know where he's at last season Baker that we saw. That's not the Baker that we know. So this is a huge season and it's really exciting. So what you're going to see in this matchup is two very important looks at two very important quarterbacks in this league. This is the future of the league if they play well and if they can turn the season into something. So yeah, no, win or lose, you can't be mad at it because you just go into week 2 against the Bengals and hopefully you got to win there. So a little bit easier, I think, than the Ravens. So, I mean, you're facing a tough team, division champs. Like you can't be mad if you lose. I don't want anybody to be, you can be heartbroken, but don't put all your stock into this game because it's not worth it. It's not a good gauge on the rest of the season because it's a tough matchup against a really good quarterback and a really good team. And it's time to see what that has in store for the Browns. I'm very, very excited to see this matchup.
Yes, Jeremy, it's that time, man, for bold predictions. Okay, I want your boldest, no preseason games, week 1 prediction. Don't sissy-addle me and do some Baker 2 TDs, no interceptions.
Okay, here's what I'll say.
Bold prediction, Jay.
I think that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt will combine for over 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, now that's a bold prediction, my dude. Heck yeah, Cameron, start us off. Your first bold prediction.
First bold prediction. I think Rashard Higgins gets in there and makes a crazy game-changing play right off the jump, proves his worth. Hollywood, roll out the red carpet. Game 1, back in action.
Let's go. Let's go.
I love
My
it.
bold prediction is Browns by 3 scores. Come on, guys. Browns by 3 scores.
That's bold. That's borderline crazy. No, that's a good bold prediction.
That should
I love
surprise
it,
you for my
Chase.
bold predictions
No.
last year.
It doesn't at all.
Well, that does
I
it
love
for
it, Chase.
this week's episode of the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast. Week 1 preview of the Baltimore Ravens. Cameron, Jeremy, thank you so much for hopping on, recording this. Cameron, final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Here we go, Brownies. It's time to put it to the test. It's make or break right now. Let's go.
Jay, bring us home, man. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I just think it's awesome that we're playing football and that we have, that this is going to happen. I'm excited for that, and it's excited to finally see this Browns team on the field, to see what the offense looks like, what the defense looks like. So I'm just excited, pumped, and hey, why not go out and win it, right?
Right. Shouts to our sponsors, Shart.com, for this episode. Make sure you check them out. Get you a T-shirt frame for all those Cleveland Cavs, Browns, Indian shirts you don't wear. Put them on the wall, display them with pride, and that'll be good. Hey, here we go, Brownies. Let's go!
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
It's not an illusion. We're talking about the Super Bowl. Anything less is impossible. Paint it brown and orange for the USA. Paint it brown and orange for the